Okay, here's a quick video. I just want to show the Soundstream Kia Optima 8-inch monitor, and it's got a ribbon cable that connects to the existing radio, or actually use the existing radio's ribbon cable and connect to it, and so you get your display, but it also has a GPS and all that stuff. So I just wanted to cover a few things, my likes and dislikes about it. First thing I noticed, which I was a little bit aggravated with, was, or not really aggravated, but just kind of thought it was cheesy, this eject button and this CD in, they're fake. They're unnecessary. In my opinion, it would look better if they were not there. I understand they were trying to make it, look stock or whatever, but to me it would look better if it was just the CD opening and not the fake buttons. And this one, when it was packed in plastic, but it kind of rubbed, and on the edges here, and there's a little mark here and in here. Can't really tell, it's dark. It's not that noticeable, but I'm extremely picky, and I did notice it. This is my wife's car. She doesn't notice it, so it's not a big deal. But basically, the plastic it was packed in rubbed up against it, and it just kind of rubbed some spots. To me, it would have been better if they put a little plastic film over it to prevent that from happening. The other is the boot up time, but it's not a big deal because we leave it on Sirius pretty much the whole time, and the radio starts to play before the thing comes on, so it doesn't really slow us down as far as that goes. So I'm gonna go ahead and crank it, and if I can do this with my left hand. And again, I know other people have done some videos on this, but just wanted to cover a couple of things people may have questions about. Because the other thing that it took me a little bit of getting used to is the way the display is done.
So much tour dates, passion info at christomlin.com, and thank you again on the message.
So one of the things, of course, this is the volume and the phone
no
control.
Phone
don't have
Please
the
phone
on there, but anyway, that shows it. Alright, well, this is, at least this brings up the display that I was talking about. That, let me turn this down and go back into the menu. Alright, on setup, with this being, touch screen, I thought, well, I could just push one of these buttons. And it took me a minute to realize what you have to do. You can't do that. You actually have to scroll through at the bottom, and then when you hit something, you hit the enter, like you would on the radio, and then you turn it that way. But I thought you could just hit the button, but it doesn't. When you hit the open screen, it goes back to this whenever you do that. So the only thing that is accessible is the edge, and of course the numbers down here. Basically, what looks like the the factory radio part is the only thing that is accessible as far as that goes. The eject button is here for the CD, since it's, like I said, that was fake. So that's one little thing that it just took me a minute to get used to. I would rather, on the setup, you could just hit one of those buttons. That would be nice, but that's not the way, and I understand why it's set up that way. But let's go to the GPS. And there it is. hit trip, which is the that, and then you hit that, it comes back, and you can alternate between that and your GPS. Other than that, it pretty much covers it, really. Let's go. Let's exit this and go back to the main menu here. It's got several different things. This is a notepad. I believe I wrote a note to my wife here. Yep. So just being goofy, kind of wrote with my finger. So you can do different notes. There's your Bluetooth if you want to connect your phone to this, but I'd rather not do that and just have it go through the car radio. It's got a DVD. I think I will eventually get a DVD player for it, and put some let it be the controller and put some headrest monitors, but that's down the road. Not really going to do that anytime soon. You have your stuff you can connect to down here. Your here's your settings. You can change on your brightness. You can have it if you have the automatic set up. You can have it a certain brightness at a certain time in the morning, and then in the at PM you set it at a certain brightness. That's the way I've got it set, so that it dims when it gets dark outside. And then of course you got the other settings, some screensaver settings, sound. You can control the volume, the navigation speaker volume, which is a separate speaker. Excuse me, a separate speaker from the audio system, but it's plenty loud. Matter of fact, I'll go back. Here's software if you want to upgrade, I'm assuming. Exit out of that. You also have this up here. You can set your time. You can set this has got picture-in-picture. That's, I guess, if you have another input, you can bring it up anywhere from a quarter size to half size, I believe. I hadn't really played with that part, so don't know 100% sure. The other thing I wanted to do, let's go back to this, is I hooked up a backup camera to it. I got the camera from China. I think it was supposed to be a direct fit, factory look style, and it did go in there, but it kind of wiggled, as in up and down. It didn't have enough. The seal they sent with it wasn't thick enough, so what I did was added another layer of the seal, which I used 3M tape on it, the molding tape, and I cut it with a razor blade so it fit perfect. And after that, it fits just like it's supposed to. So anyway, it's set up to just work off the reverse. I did not have to hook up a wire in the front at all. The only wire that's hooked up is the back wire, which is goes to the reverse light. That's hooked up, reverse light and ground, and then of course the RCA cord that runs up to the front, and then the RCA plugs into the radio, to this controller, and it picks up the signal. So that's it. I think covered everything. It looks and works just like the factory radio as far as that stuff goes. Like I say, the only things I'm disappointed in is the fake little fake eject button and CDN over here. I would have liked for those to have been smooth, and I would have liked to have been able to hit in this middle area on the setup. I would have liked to hit that. It would have made things a lot easier than trying to scroll through like that. But again, those are minor things, not a big deal. I like it. It's a nice screen. I only paid $150 for it through Best Buy, so it's well worth it to me. Only thing you have to be careful of is installing it. I saw on the forums where somebody had an issue with one popping, and they got another radio and put it in there and it went away. Well, I thought I was careful when I first put it in, but I had some issues too that didn't show up for about probably 2 or 3 days down the road. I thought it was actually from the Bluetooth, because every time it started squealing and making a noise, the Bluetooth was telling me to what was it? Make a call, or please say a command, or whatever it does. And so I took it apart, and I noticed that the little antenna that they provide an antenna with the setup, had fallen, and it was kind of hanging there. So I thought maybe that was it. I took some good 3M tape and stuck it up there, up to the bottom of this, and it went away for a couple of days, but then it came back. So I think that I messed up the ribbon cable, so I found another radio off eBay real cheap, and I put it in, and I hadn't had that issue. So I was a little more careful with it the second time around. Also, the radio was different. The two cables were different. The ribbon cables were different. The one that was on there was a short ribbon cable, but this one was a long ribbon cable, and it was actually able to wrap around that inner box and come around on top, instead of being kind of stuffed back in there. And I think that may have something to do with it. But either way, I'm happy with it. For the money I paid for it, it's nice. If you can get one, if they still have them at Best Buy for $150, I recommend it. As long as you're really careful putting it in, or you may just want to, if you can find a cheap radio on eBay, you may want to get it and do that and save your radio that you have in there as a just in case, or something like that. So, but there you go. Sorry it wasn't a great video, but I hope I explained everything. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.